Hello, everyone. This is Rising Stories Podcast, and I'm your host, Corrine Sandifer. On Rising Stories, we meet women who are changing their world. They are building businesses and following their dreams. They share stories with us about their journey and about their struggles. We also chat about tips that help us live our lives with intention and purpose. I also share more information on Instagram and Facebook, and I would love it if you would connect with me there. I'm at Corrine Sandifer on both. Also, don't forget to visit the show notes today to find more information about this show and our guests. My guests today are the gals from UrbanGirl Nashville. UrbanGirl is a local women's collective founded by Juliana Cox and Lindsay Sherrod. Juliana and Lindsay started this group because they wanted to provide a place for women who were new to the city to connect with each other. It's also a way to build community with each other, with the newbies, and with native Nashvillians. About 20 of us sat in a room and talked about UrbanGirl and how we are finding like-minded individuals and what it's like to build a business here in Music City. I am going to warn you, though, after you hear the story about the campfire night, you are going to want to pack up your things and move to Nashville. You'll also hear a great story towards the end from someone who was not only new to Nashville, but was new to this country, and her brave move to find community. Here is my conversation with the girls from UrbanGirl Nashville. Hey, Juliana.
Hey, Corrine. How are you?
Good. I'm so glad you said yes to this podcast.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah. So we're here at WeWork.
We are here at WeWork in East Nashville
all day, and it's been so much fun. I really want to do it again.
It's like being at camp with my favorite girls.
Yeah, right? Like work camp, but not really working. We really I didn't get a lot done.
I sent one email today, but had 20 amazing conversations.
Yeah. So UrbanGirl, there was like 20 of us here working. It's sort of like a co-op working area, and they let us come and treated us like queens. It provided all kinds of stuff and gave us goodie bags, and we came here to work for the day.
So generous. I think WeWork has a similar value as UrbanGirl Nashville, which is about facilitating community around camaraderie and shared experiences, and that's what UrbanGirl's been doing for the last 2 years, and we've grown from 30 girls over a barbecue to almost 2,500 women. And I think WeWork saw an opportunity where they're a global company, they're a $22 billion company that has, I think they have like 40 locations for shared workspaces in New York, and I think they saw an opportunity to bridge the gap between a massive company and a lot of smaller entrepreneurs that are in UrbanGirl. And so UrbanGirl is sort of this bridge in between women that work in Nashville that may have not otherwise known what WeWork was. Yeah. So it's a treat that they're partnering with us.
Yeah. How did you and Lindsay start UrbanGirl?
We always joke about this. It literally was born over lunch with each other at First Watch in Brentwood.
Yeah.
on a lunch break I was having. And we both felt that we continued to meet amazing women one-on-one, and all of them were saying the same thing, which is, I just moved to Nashville. I love it here. Everyone's so friendly, but I have no girlfriends. I just work and hopefully work out and walk my dog and wake up, repeat. There's no community. I think women, as they get into their later 20s, 30s, even in their 40s after their kids leave home, have a hard time connecting with other women that are in a similar lane of life. So we threw a party, and here we are 2 years later.
So it just started like over coffee, and then over lunch, and it got bigger and bigger, and you have a presence on Facebook, so a big group, and I love that it has like so many ways for you to step in and connect, because there's like moms, there's like women who don't have kids, women who have fur babies, women who,
whose kids have gone to college. I mean, I think that's a huge thing, is people think, oh, UrbanGirl, this is a young millennial group. It's really not. I just thought Urban Woman didn't sound as good.
Right.
So it's UrbanGirl, but we have all ages, all everything. It's a super diverse group. Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah. What's coming up for UrbanGirl? Like, what are you hoping? Where do y'all want to take this?
Yeah, that's a super great question. I think what I always say is it's going to go wherever the girls want it to go. It's very much a social community effort that's for us and by us. Lindsay and I don't have any type of vested interest in selling anything to these girls, forcing them into a specific product. We encourage people to network amongst each other, but to at least begin the relationship in a authentic dialogue of friendship.
Yeah.
And I think that in a world where we're also over-marketed to feeling authentically connected to somebody before it turns into a professional relationship, goes a long way in a really saturated market, especially in Nashville right now. So over time, I think we want to continue to host events that support other small business owners in Nashville, other female-led businesses, and also continue to do workshops for girls based on what their needs are. Like we've done things, we've done workshops on gut health with Laura Lemon at Lemon Lane. We've done workshops on adrenal fatigue. We're working on one right now with Jennifer Way with Way Solutions to talk about how to write a great resume and how to value yourself and how to interview well. Because there's a lot of girls that are relocating in job hunting. So we're trying to stay laser focused on what we think the girls need. Yeah. And just sort of offering a potpourri of that, whether they're early in their career or they're pivoting and mid to the end of their career.
What's the best story or testimony you've heard from somebody in UrbanGirl?
That's a good one. For me, we hosted a campfire back in November where I met Laura, who's sitting here with us today, and it was talking about how to walk the line in business between assertive and bitchy, for lack of a better term. I think when you act firm or forceful as a woman, sometimes you're looked at like you're being mean or rude or emotional, and how to walk that line in your business and how to be assertive with elegance and grace and with a ladylike way about you. And it was a huge topic, and we had 130 girls come out, and 3 girls came up to me afterwards crying, saying, I've lived in Nashville for 6 years, Jules. I feel like I finally found my tribe. I mean, weeping. Like, I felt so safe here. I get chills talking about it now, literally. It just means everything to me. And I've had girls come up to me. I had a girl the other day who was at that campfire. I was at Caviar on Bananas with some coworkers, and she was like, are y'all an UrbanGirl? And I was like, what? She's like, I met y'all. You started UrbanGirl. So it's this cool way of women like connecting and having some sort of like, oh, you're an UrbanGirl, okay. Like I know what level we're at with each other. Like you're a cool, honest, authentic woman that's about empowering women. Like we can be chill with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. And so we're here with like 9 of us, and I can't count. But and I just asked y'all to come. A large group asked y'all to come, and we want to talk about UrbanGirl. But we, if y'all have anything to chime in, please do about UrbanGirl. But we also want to talk about Nashville and how it's changed and what it's like to look for a job here, or to work in Nashville, or to start a business. A lot of us have our own businesses. And Juliana, you are a realtor.
Yeah.
And so
I think that was a huge inspiration too, is that I was relocating so many amazing women into town that loved Nashville, that came for a bachelorette party or came to visit a friend, and they're like, I'm moving here, everyone's so nice. And then I check in with them, hey, how's the house? How are you? I'm like, I'm great. I just need to meet more girls. So that's kind of how it was born too, is realizing there was a real need.
Well, because Nashville already, it's a southern town.
Yes.
And so, and I even know this, I've been here for years, but everyone's grown up together here.
Yes.
And even though they've gone off to college, a lot of them came back, or they just, started in their jobs a long time ago, and they all know each other. And so it's hard to break in.
It's hard to break in. And honestly, I think Becca could take this one. Becca Cunningham, she's also a realtor. She's super successful here in our urban core as well, and she's from Nashville, so she has seen both sides, so I feel like you might have some great points for that.
Yeah, just growing up here and knowing what Nashville sort of was before as a child, and coming into the city and going to the honky tonks and having sort of just like family lunches downtown and seeing not too many people around 15 years ago, to now you go downtown and there's just mass amounts of people.
I know
everywhere.
Second Avenue is like, and Broadway is like,
yeah. So those streets were places where you just didn't go, for lack of a better word. And it's just evolved in such a way, I think, that Nashville has always been Southern and welcoming and, hospitable.
Yeah.
So that something like UrbanGirl really does fit in this city.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to connect and belong to a community, and Nashville's a place that is a little city, but it's a big town.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that UrbanGirl just has this great mission of connecting women to be able to empower each other and grow and have, authentic relationships.
Yeah.
I can't really think of a better place, for UrbanGirl to actually get started. It's like the perfect city. It's the perfect formula, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great thought.
Yeah. And, do you find that being from Nashville, you're everybody, you've got your group, but then there's so many new people coming, and do you find that you're making more connections through UrbanGirl?
Well, to be honest with you, today is my first time ever
Oh,
doing an UrbanGirl event. And I started working at WeWork a week ago, so I actually have an office on this floor. And just saw Jules downstairs one day last week, and she was like, "You have to come." So I was immediately a yes for that, and here I am. But I've had about a half a glass of wine, so remind me what your question was.
I don't remember because I'm having a little wine myself.
We have fun here.
Yes. Well, they brought it. I'm telling you, they like
At 2:30.
Yeah.
At 2:30.
Yeah, we work now.
Right.
She said we'll have an afternoon pick-me-up for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it was
And
an
it
after
was,
and
yeah.
wine. Y'all, WeWork is the jam.
It
It's the jam.
is. They had juices this morning and pastries. We had a blast.
I think as an original of Nashville, do you feel like you're making like a new set of fresh new friends, or do you feel like you're sticking with the older, or is it a blend of both? I'm sort of curious about that.
Yeah,
too.
so it's a definite blend of both, and the reason why I was so open and an immediate yes to coming today was because it's really important to me to build relationships with people who are new to town, because it's almost like a little personal mission of mine to keep Nashville nice, and to really be sort of what the city what I know it to be, what my family knows it to be, just hospitable, warm, welcoming.
Keeping some of the characteristics of,
yes, exactly. And that's really important. So if I can insert myself into enough different groups, who are kind of learning what this city is all about, let's just spread the love and
that's a
the
great
welcoming, attitude that really Nashvillians are known for.
Yeah.
That's why people move here, is because we're nice.
Yeah.
Authentically nice. Yeah.
What those of you who are not from here, why did you choose Nashville? Did you come to visit and then said this is the place?
I'll take that. My name's Annika. I have a company called Hey Mavens. It's lingerie, make it in my basement. But my husband and I moved here about a year and a half ago, and we had been to Nashville one time before. And he and I were basically looking to relocate. We lived in Los Angeles, and we wanted to buy a house and start a family and do that whole American dream thing. And in LA, we just couldn't afford to stay there and have the kind of lifestyle we wanted. And he works in the music industry, so we were like, okay, we could move to Los Angeles, New York, or Nashville. And New York wasn't going to serve our needs for what our goals were. So we just thought, like, okay, we'll just pick up and move, and we'll just move to Nashville and just drop in. And we just, rented an apartment we found on Craigslist and just moved here. We didn't know anybody. Neither of us had jobs that brought us here, so we didn't have coworkers to look forward to meeting. And we wanted to come here because it just felt right. Like, it just felt like home. And basically immediately after moving here, we're like, this is the place, like, you know, bury me here, I'm done. Like, I don't need to go see another city to feel like I'm in the right place.
Yeah.
And I met Lindsay, the other co-founder of UrbanGirl. I met her on my second week here at a craft show. And I was just sort of like going booth to booth being like, will somebody please be friends with me? Like, I just want to meet one person. Like, if I just meet one person, I'll feel like, okay, you know, I feel a little bit more grounded and more connected. And she was just so like warm and welcoming. And basically within the first 2 minutes of our conversation, she said, well, I have this thing. It's called UrbanGirl. I think you would be a really good fit. And she was right. I was the perfect fit for it because pretty much everybody I know in Nashville is an extension of Lindsay. She just introduced me to the next person, and maybe 2 or 3 weeks after meeting her, I went to a big UrbanGirl event where I met, you know, everybody that's in my life now. So it's kind of crazy. Like, UrbanGirl pretty much set me up to have relationships with girlfriends and just you know, personal connections that, yeah, it's I get emotional too because I don't know what I would do if I hadn't met Lindsay, hadn't been introduced to UrbanGirl, because I literally didn't know a soul here. So it's pretty incredible. Yeah.
And her lingerie is so amazing.
I can't wait to see that.
She has cute cat bras, and I bought all of them, I think.
Yeah.
It's so fun. Also, like, her photo shoots are gorgeous, and I'm pretty sure all your models are
Urban Girls. Yeah.
One of them sitting right here.
Nice.
Emily was one of my models, my most recent shoot. Yeah, I mean, yeah, thanks to UrbanGirl, I found like models, photographers, like everybody. I also
We've
need
got it all,
professional
sister.
stuff. Yeah, I always joke, I'm like, there's literally one of everything in UrbanGirl. Like, my husband was looking for a piano tuner for his studio, and I was like, oh, I know somebody. And he was like, how would you know a piano tuner? Like, you're not even in the music industry. Like, how would you know?
You're like,
I was like, I'll find it in UrbanGirl. And I did.
That's what's great about because we're on Facebook and we can ask something really quickly and say, you know, hey, I'm looking for a hairdresser, I'm looking for a piano tuner, or I need a vet, in this part of town. And so it's awesome. It's the resources that we all carry and we're all sharing with each other.
It's like a living and breathing Yelp.
Yeah.
Of reviews of your friends.
Trusted reviews.
So you know are reliable reviews.
Yeah, 2
Exactly.
a.m. or 5 p.m. and you will get like 7 responses about
Yeah.
what type of shampoo you should use.
I
for
mean,
blonde
my
hair.
favorites are like the gynecologist recommendations. People get real excited about recommending
Real excited about
gynecologists. It's like amazing. That's sisterhood right there.
That is. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also not local to Nashville, or not born and raised. I've been here for a little over a year. I came from Iowa, and no music industry connection. No, I had a friend that lived here, and she posted pictures all the time. She looked like she was always having so much fun, and I wanted to move away from Iowa in the Midwest, but not super far. You know, bigger city. I actually really like Minneapolis, but it's way too cold, and so I actually just relocated here with my company at the time, and they had a growing office here, and they let me come. And I'm lucky enough to live in a really like friendly apartment complex, so I was able to make some friends. But same thing, they weren't just like close girlfriends, and they weren't also great networkers. Like, they were kind of like party people, and I was like, I feel like you need some business connections, you know, people that are different than me, that I might be able to get into something outside of what I would find if I just stayed friends with like the gay guy down the hall. So I actually was starting to look for a new job last summer, and connected with another, I don't think she's one of the co-founders, but she's close with the co-founders, Liz Lyon.
Yeah, of course.
And she invited me to a few different things, and I then took a position that actually took my focus off of Nashville in August, so I feel like I've kind of let my Nashville network kind of dwindle, and it's great that just a few weeks ago when I resigned from my position, I was able to pick back up where I left off. I was able to just immediately look at the UrbanGirl page and see this, and I just signed up right away. And thought, well, that's a great reason to get out and about and reconnect with people that I hadn't talked to in months, and do something like this. So, yeah, I've just found it to be a great a great network, and for me it wasn't the same thing it was for you, where it's like where I've made all my friends, but it's such a great addition to all the kind of small avenues that I have been able to find to make friends and business connections and meet people that you wouldn't otherwise.
Yeah, I think even if you're well established here in Nashville, you've been here forever, it's UrbanGirl is such a good supplement to your life, because there's there's one of everything in it, is what I keep saying, but like it's so rich and so full of different people that it really can just be a supplement to whatever you're looking for.
Exactly, and I feel like it's so unique in the sense that I feel like I've been to a lot of business networking groups too, and you just don't find as authentic of people, or it's just unique. Like I feel like it's a little bit more cookie cutter salesperson, and not that I don't enjoy those relationships as well, but it's just a good add-on. Or like I said, you meet certain people in your apartment that go to the karaoke night with free booze, and like those are fun people too, but you need to add on to your life. So I've enjoyed it very much, even though I've just kind of only been back to utilizing it probably for a couple weeks now.
Yeah. That's so amazing. That was Maddie talking.
Maddie.
I think you nailed it I think Lindsay's and my vision was to hopefully be some sort of bridge between like a super effective networking event that goes really well, where you feel like you walk away with some wonderful new contacts, mixed with eating sour gummy worms and popcorn and Hershey chocolate, watching a Disney movie on a Friday night with like 3 of your best friends.
I feel like that's a reference to a real thing
every Friday night. But that, like, just somewhere in the middle of that, I think is what we wanted it to be.
Yeah. And it's also, I love that you said it's a supplement for those who are already established, like you and I. We've been here a while. I mean, you've been here all your life, and I've been here so many years. But it's fresh, and I do love that networking part of it, where you don't feel like someone's going to be, like Annika's not, I didn't even know she did the lingerie, the undergarments and stuff. It's like, now I want to know, but it's so organic the way that happens. I mean,
she wasn't pushing it on you the second she sat next to you. That's good.
Here's my business card.
Buy from me.
No. See, like, it's always, I like that better, just when you're, it's authentic. I mean, if someone wants something from you, they'll ask you, like,
absolutely.
Hey, I want to know about that. So, how is it, like, starting a business? Has anybody started a business from the ground up here? Besides Annika, you started here?
Yeah, I started when I lived in Los Angeles, but I have done a lot of new things. I rebranded since being here. And yeah, I feel really well supported here. In Los Angeles, it was just like being adrift in a big sea, and I didn't really have a lot of friends who also did business, at least not in the same way that I did. Like, I knew most of my friends worked for like corporate jobs, and that was not my lifestyle. So like coming to a place like WeWork, for a whole day, that like I just would have never done that. I would have never known it existed, and yeah, it's a really different environment here than in Los Angeles. It feels, there's just a sense of community, which I never felt. I mean, Los Angeles is its own beast. It has its own weird culture. But yeah, coming to Nashville, it was a culture shock, I think. Like, I had to really learn to like slow down and not be so like impatient, and everything has to happen fast. Like, that was a big change. It was like, okay, like, everything's a little slower here, and everyone is friendly. And at first I was like, what do you want? Like, why are you being nice? Like, you're trying to get something from me? Because that was like how I was trained, like, living in LA. I was like, everything's a transaction, whereas here it's like, you just want to talk to me and be my friend just to be my friend, not so you can like, I want like free stuff from you, or like, I'll put you on my Instagram page. Like, it's just about being nice. It's not about like, weaseling something out of you. So
I was going to say, I don't run my own business. I don't have any intention of doing that in the near future, but I am actively looking for work at this moment, and I think that it's groups like this and just the general demeanor of people, kind of that whole helpful nature, that especially people that understand networking, people have just been so helpful.
Becca again. And one thing, that I want to add just to keep it real, is that Nashville is great, right? Nashville is lovely. Community is very important to everyone here. And there's a real sense of it. But we're still, human beings living life, and you meet bad and good people no matter where you are. And life happens, and you can get down and out. And that happens in this city, too. So I think more than anything to keep in mind in regard to UrbanGirl is that we're in a day and age where people are really figuring out how important it is to protect your energy and protect your space, because there's so many opportunities for us to go out in this city, especially, doing business networking events or mixers or, whatever you get invited to, a Predators game, or, going downtown honky-tonking for a friend, who's in town for a bachelorette party. So you have this world of opportunity to do things literally every single night of the week, right?
Right.
And you meet people while you're out, and, you have fun, but at the end of the day, we're all working women with goals and careers and things that we want to achieve and accomplish. So to me, UrbanGirl is more about a space that no matter how kind of much time you spend and effort with the people or whatever, that it's going to be something that fuels you in a positive way. And that you could spend an event every night of the week with this organization, and it's likely not going to drain you because you're making relationships that matter.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know what it is about UrbanGirl, but when I come, just when I walked in today, it's very warm, very welcoming. And that's everybody, just the group as a whole. Very warm, very welcoming. There's some peace in just sitting. I sat next to somebody I didn't know, hadn't met, but I just, it was just really very casual, very peaceful, and yeah, I feel like I get that every time I walk into an event. And as far as the honky tonk goes, hey, be thankful, because when I first moved here, the only thing people, when they came to visit, the only thing they wanted to see was Opryland Hotel. So I cannot tell you how many times I've been. I know the front and back of the whole place. So now when they come in town, I'm like, heck yeah, I'll go. I'll take you wherever, and I don't normally go downtown, but I will. It's better than. I love Opryland, if y'all are listening.
And then it takes, sometimes 2, 3, 4 days to kind of get back on track from
yes.
that.
Yeah.
You kind of lose your mind a little bit.
Yeah.
But I know today for me, I'm going to walk away feeling more inspired and fulfilled and driven. And, there's just something to be said about a group of women who can do that for you. It's big stuff, everybody in here is up to big stuff, and you kind of have to surround yourself with people who are going to lift you up in that way, and that's what this is about, I think.
Yeah.
A safe space.
Jules, they're onto something.
Yeah.
For sure. Creating safe spaces, for sure.
I like that phrase.
Kelsey White is here. She just popped in. I'm so glad she did. She kind of runs the show here at WeWork, but she is not from Nashville, so she might have some cool insight into why WeWork was interested in our market and what it was like to set up WeWork in both their East Nashville and downtown location. And furthermore, she just bought a house. So she's she's a rooted Nashvilleian. So I think that says quite a lot that she came here for work and very quickly decided to be local. So I think Kelsey could have some wonderful things to say about that.
Well, hi everyone. I think honestly it was just a really good segment to hear, wanting to be around people that uplift you and be around like-minded individuals that have similar goals, and that's really what WeWork is about. We wanted to create a space that's not 4 walls and desks, but a community and a group of companies and people that actually want to work together. So it's not just working together in Nashville, but also working together around the world. We have 400 locations. We very much encourage people to travel and meet each other and go to events and everything. So yeah.
So if they're a member here, they can go to any WeWork. location.
Yep,
and
it's
pop
a
in
worldwide
and
membership.
do
We
what you
connect
need to.
everyone through an app. So we actually have a team downstairs, and their main goal is to introduce companies to each other.
Wow.
And we call them the community team, and that's what they're there for. It's to make sure that the companies here have an incredible experience in their office space, but that they go beyond these walls, and that they actually can say, oh, you're looking for a website designer? We have 3 in the building. Let's connect you. We'll set you up downstairs. We'll get you guys lunch. And that's our goal, to actually make sure that you make the most of this. And it's not just, a space that you come into, but a space that inspires you, and you meet people, and the more connections you make, the happier you'll be here.
Yeah.
And that's really what WeWork is about. There's a lot of shared space companies out there, but I think, one of our goals is to actually create genuine communities, and we are very particular about what markets we go into. And one of the things, I moved from New York to Nashville last year, and when I was moving here, in my interview process, I was like, look, Nashville doesn't need us, we need them. And I think that's what we really need to be intentional about, and not, we have all of this money, let's go throw up an office space. Like, what makes WeWork is the community, and we need the right people and the right companies to buy in and to be interested in joining us. And that's the mentality that we have to have. And I learned that quickly moving to Nashville, that it's unlike other markets in the sense that, we actually wanted to make sure that we were accepted here, and we made sure that the beer on tap was from East Nashville. And that, when we were walking upstairs, I was like, oh, you're an artist? Like, that piece down there was actually done by one of our members here. And we waited to design a lot of the space until we could meet people. And 1767, which is a local company, I'm sure you guys all know the woodworking pieces that Patrick does. He's made 6 different pieces for us here, because we wanted to give back to the community and make it a spot that people locally believed in and saw us as a Nashville company and not a New York company throwing up space. So,
Are you part of UrbanGirl?
I am. Yes.
Yay.
Yes, that's how Jules and I met.
Okay.
We became very fast friends.
And so what made you, when did you decide, once you got here and you had this job, I mean, did you think to yourself, I'm going to just rent and see if I like it? Or did you?
I literally picked Nashville blindly on a map. I had been here for about 3 hours, and my husband thought I was batshit crazy, but was like, sure, I mean, I know we're going to do this anyway, so let's just do it now.
Let's do it.
But we had lived in New York City for 6 years, and we're both from upstate New York. And, Manhattan was wonderful, but it was almost like rip the Band-Aid off at some point. And his company is based in Dallas, and said anywhere that we have a satellite location, go for it. And I was like, Nashville. I'd never been here. I had no idea what drew me here. Yeah, and I've heard that. The more I say that, people are like, oh, I did that too.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, and I
did the same thing.
I really wanted a transplant city. I had been to Dallas before. I did not want to be a +1 in a high school group of friends. I wanted a place that people were moving and wanted to make friends. And I left my best 9 friends in the world. They all live in New York, and they'll live in New York forever. And I was just like, I'm leaving. I love you guys, but I'm leaving. And I'm going to a place with a new job, working remotely. Because I moved here in June and started with WeWork. We didn't open our buildings until November. So I was like, I want a new job, but I have a team, a building. And I had none of those when I started. So I was kind of going in blind. So I knew working remotely until WeWork's open that I needed to find my people. So I heard of UrbanGirl through a friend of a friend. I don't even remember who at this point, but I went to my first event, the fire pit night in Meredith and Lauren's backyard, which is right down the street from mine, and I was just like, shit, this is awesome. This is real. Yeah. So
what's your favorite thing about Nashville?
Moving from New York, like, I love the fact that I can in 15 minutes be to a lake, or to a hike, or to a bar, or literally to the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Whereas in New York, if you want to even go golf 9 holes, you have to take 2 trains and a 45-minute drive.
I just came from there a couple weekends ago.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
it's just, there's something about the freedom here that's It's nice. It's inspiring.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite restaurant?
I love Rolf and Daughters because it's currently attached. I live in the Worthing Lofts right now, and it's attached to my apartment, so I
frequent it. Yeah.
I went there Tuesday. I go and sit at my husband travels like 6 nights out of the week, so I go and I sit at the bar, and it's like my place right now. But I'll find a new spot in East Nashville soon.
What's there to do here if you just want to do something by yourself?
What a great question. I need more alone time. Yeah. I don't do that. This is Jules talking.
I know, yeah.
I'd say hiking Radnor.
Right?
It's a great thing to do.
That's a great thing to do by yourself, yeah. Radnor's like a state, is it a state park? I don't even know.
It is.
It is a state park.
We all look at the original.
We all look at the Nashville native.
I was like, you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's got a big lake in the middle, and it's just
Seeing a movie at Belcourt would be good.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I go to the movies by myself.
Belcourt.
Rock climbing, you can do. They have all those ones like that don't require a person. All the like automatic ones.
First Saturday art walks and the Frist Museum too.
First Saturday art walks in the Frist. Yeah. Gosh, that art walk was so small when I first moved here. Well, it probably wasn't here then, but it's grown, and I love that.
Also Cheekwood and things like that.
Cheekwood, yeah. You could go to the Frist, just walk around by yourself.
Laura has a great story. She's from Columbia.
Oh, you're from Columbia? With her accent.
I met her at Campfire. She was one of my favorites.
Yes, I'm Laura.
She was one of the ones that made me cry.
Yes, that was like my first event, and I moved like 2 months ago. I came here 5 years ago because I got a scholarship playing tennis, and I was like, I want to go to a big city because I was living in a small town, and I chose Nashville because when I was in college, sometimes we came here with friends and we had fake IDs. We went to downtown and it was such an amazing time. So I don't know how I was just like living in Nashville, didn't know anyone, and I was just going to Facebook, finding groups, finding people, how to meet people. So I found UrbanGirl, and I went to the campfire, and it was like amazing. So I was like so nervous. I'm like, oh my god, this is like crazy. And then Julie, she was just so warm and she was so nice. And then we have all these girls there, and they're like, oh my god, your accent, where are you from? And I was like, oh, this is awesome.
What did it feel like? This is Jules talking to Laura. What did it feel like to go from being a user on a Facebook page that you stumbled upon to physically deciding to get dressed, get in your car, and come to an event where there were 150 women
that you didn't know?
Like, walk me through that emotion.
Okay, it was like, I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, should I go to this event? Because I'm like, I don't know, I mean, it's a big city. I mean, I'm from a big city, but I'm like very protective, like princess girl, and I'm always with my family or friends, and I'm never alone. So my mom was like, just go for it, just go meet people, just, be friendly. So I have like all these apps that I don't use. I just have them, I don't know. And then sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to this event, and then at the last minute I'm like, no, I'm just gonna stay home. Yeah. So it was that choice of saying, it's time to open your connections and meet people and be friendly. Yeah. So it was amazing. It was a really nice event.
So you thought to yourself, it's time. It's time for me to do something. And
because for me as an international, it is like, I don't know how to say it. I don't know
Spanish,
how
I'll know.
Yeah. It's like, because I'm not from America, it's a different culture. I don't know how they're gonna, like, American
receive you.
Yeah, so how they're gonna welcome you. They're gonna be like, oh, she's not, like, she's international, or her accent, I don't like that, I don't like this. So is that kind of, it's more of that barrier, like, doesn't matter my accent, it doesn't matter if I speak well or if they don't understand me, just like open up and having that option of meeting people and building friendships, which for me, I have friends like all over America, Chicago, New York, because of college, because of Nashville.
Right.
So it's great. I like it.
Awesome. Anybody else?
Christy just walked in. She's my sweet buddy. She's a brilliant artist, and she recently relocated in the last year, right? When did we close our house?
Yes.
May of last year?
May.
Yeah. Christy's incredible. Why Nashville?
Well, we've been looking at moving. We knew my husband was going to finish his schooling, and we were kind of looking at cities that we thought would be fun, but also would be, for me, like supportive of the arts and welcoming. We moved from Little Rock, Arkansas, and Little Rock really just doesn't have a strong base for art, and they don't have a whole lot of art walks and galleries. And it's just everywhere that we went here, we have some very close friends. Elaine, who also is an urban girl, she moved here 3 years ago, and so we kept coming over and visiting them, and she kept taking me to all these places, and I mean, my eyes were just like, are you serious? This is real? And so we got a taste for Nashville for the past 3 years, and we have been trying to get here. You know, every single chance we got, we were like, do you have an interview in Nashville? Let's go. Let's just drop everything. Let's go. So we were really excited that we landed here. But also, you know, we moved here, and all the amazing people that we have met. Jules got us a wonderful house for us, and we just feel like really nestled and nested in with like the friendliest community we have ever had the blessing of meeting. Like, everybody that we have met has been so insanely real, and that's refreshing. And we feel like that is what Nashville, like, if you had to like condense what our feeling of Nashville is, it's love, it's friendship, it's encouragement. I switched to doing art full time, so this is super new to me, and I have all these other people that I really just met not that long ago, but they support you with encouraging text or going out to lunch for just, you know,
just to do it,
coffee, to do it. And no one is seeing us. It's coming from a really good place. It's just because they're just good people.
Yeah.
Like somebody else, you know.
I suppose, like Annika was saying, I suppose that in other cities there is like almost like, what do you want? Like, why do you want to take me to, or why do you want to go out to lunch with me? What am I supposed to,
like, what's the sales pitch at the
What
end?
you're saying
sales
is so
pitch?
fast paced, it's probably also like, on time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have time to just have that.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone to
Genuine.
coffee for 2.5 hours with people just because we're just talking and talking, whereas in LA, I'd be like, I've been here for 15 minutes. Like, are we done?
Let's get to the point.
and in New York it's probably a minute. I've been here, I gotta go. I gotta
Right.
take a couple trains to get back home. You know, one of the things that I've started doing here in Nashville, because I love UrbanGirl, and I want to continue that in my life and in the things that I'm doing. And so I always ask people at the end when we do get together for coffee or lunch, like, what can I do for you? Like, how can I help you? And there was one person that said that to me, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start doing that because, and it's just been amazing, the response of, you know, these women saying, oh my gosh, somebody's asked me that before. Well, you can just, you know, and so, you know, and then it comes out what they really want to do, what they really want to, you know, what their passion is, and how I can help them. And usually it's something I can do for free. I mean, it's not like they're asking me, you know, they're not going to ask me for $1 million. They're like, well, you just, you know, thanks for asking. Some of them just said, you know, thanks for asking, but, you know, I'm good or whatever. But, and that's how I feel about UrbanGirl. They're always just kind of like, you know, what's going on, you know? So
I think what's cool too, Jules is talking, is UrbanGirl is truly, there's, like I said, ages spanning from 20 up to 75, literally. And there are girls that are nurses, there are girls who don't work, there are people who've had many careers, there are people that are retired, there's everything. So I think what thrills Lindsay and me so much is that it's not a niche based on occupation or age or color or sexual orientation. It is a niche based on women being women and supporting and empowering each other, no matter where you are in life, no matter what you're doing. Like, you come to UrbanGirl and you instantly are accepted and you belong right away. And that is our mission. That is what we want. And I think in the times we're living in, if we can impact and impart that and live that truly in our small community, then we're doing something that's good and we're doing something that matters.
I would just add to that I think this is a unique group, in my opinion. This is Liz, by the way. That whether it's for social reasons or for business reasons, there's a lot of follow through here. And coming from the Northeast, where everything is high pace and cutthroat, when I got down here, I was kind of a little taken aback by kind of the slower pace and kind of a lot of flakiness. But I found this group to be different. People show up when they say they're going to show up. They follow up when they say they're going to follow up. And so that's been really refreshing to me, because it's not necessarily with an agenda. It's just kind of like a happy hustle, I guess is what I would call it.
I like that, happy hustle.
People are genuinely excited to support each other, not just to say that they're going to, but to actually do it. And that's one thing I really love about what you guys have created. So.
To add to that, this is Stephanie. I just moved here less than a year ago from North Carolina, and honestly, this is unique to Nashville. We didn't have this in the Raleigh-Durham area either, any kinds of groups like this. So to find communities that exist like this is really unique here, not even just to the south. And so I really appreciate it as a way to get to know the city as well. So
yeah. And I always say that an organization, and this is somewhat of an organization, it reflects the leaders. And so I think that you and Lindsay have that genuine connection, and that just trickles down to the next tier and the next tier down. So thanks for doing this. I'm gonna cry.
I know.
Because I know we're all just crying.
Corinne, thank you so much for doing, y'all. This was like an impromptu, spontaneous podcast.
It was, yeah.
Corinne has this amazing, successful, followed podcast, and we're super honored to be a part today. And just thank you so much for all you do. You're the glue in so many different social circles, and you're such a light. And thank you for letting us all chat today.
Yeah, thanks.
I just love all of these girls, and all of their stories were so fascinating. My favorite was Laura's account of taking that first step to close her computer and engage in real life by attending an event with people she had only met online. We all need to take that step to make those lasting connections with each other in whatever city we are in. I want to say a big thank you to WeWork for sharing their space with us for the recording of this podcast. Thanks so much for listening, and keep rising in your story.